What are your thoughts on temple in metaverse? How will it affect us? I think this question, online also we had got this question about, can a temple in the metaverse replace an actual temple? Well, during the COVID time, I remember there was a news item about a couple who wanted to get married. And you know, during the COVID time, there were lockdown restrictions. People were not allowed to go out. Large gatherings were not allowed. And so many restrictions were in place. And it went on for almost 1.5, 2 years. So there was this couple who wanted to get married. How long they will also wait. They decided to host their wedding on the metaverse. They sent out invitations to all the people. And I think they were software people or something like that. That's how they got the idea. And so they conducted their wedding on the metaverse. People were giving invitations. Those who wanted to attend, they could log into the metaverse and they could see who all else have come there. And they could meet the couple. They could see the wedding happening and all those kind of things. So actually, if you see, what is a temple? Temple is the residence of the Supreme Lord. Like in our temple, we have Krishna, Rukmini, Satyabhama, we have Gaur-Nitai, and we have Prabhupada, Vigrahas, deities. How did they come to be here and why are we worshipping them? If you go to the T Nagar or Pandi Bazaar or somewhere in Chennai, and if you are in any other city, you go to the commercial part of the city, you will find shops where they are selling all kinds of dolls. There will be Barbie doll, there will be Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, Batman, Superman, all these dolls you will find. You will also find some statues of Krishna. You will find the statues of Narasimha, etc. Now, when you look at those, and some people go there, buy these things, either for playing or they may buy a statue or an idol of Krishna and keep it in their home in the showcase. How is it different from the deity in the temple? Ultimately, both of them are made of metal, and the look-wise also, features also the same. But when we go to somebody's house, we see Krishna's statue in the showcase. What do we say? We look at Krishna, okay, nice statue they have kept. We may even compliment the owner, beautiful statue God, where did you get it from? But the same statue or deity, if it is in the temple, the moment we say, what do? We offer obeisance, we pray, we fold our hands and we start praying. Some people have so many desires, they start praying, I have this difficulty, oh my Lord, please solve this problem. Or, different people have different prayers, so they go and offer. When you see that same Krishna statue in the idol in the shop or in somebody's showcase, we don't fold our hands and start praying, right? Why this difference? Because the deity in the temple undergoes a process known as prana pratishtha. That terminology has become very famous because of the Ramlalla deity's installation in Ayodhya. Everybody was saying prana pratishtha, prana pratishtha. What is this prana pratishtha? Prana means life force. We all have prana. When somebody dies, we say his prana is left. Papa, prana hoitordu. In Kannada we say. Prana is gone, prana is left. Prana means life force. Pratishtha. Pratishtha means to establish. Prana pratishtha means to establish the life force. That means we have made a deity of Krishna or Rama made out of stone or out of metal or out of clay or out of wood. Jagannath deities are made of neem wood. There are, if you go to Bengal, you find Gaurnitha deities made of clay. You made, like Ayodhya, the recent temple, and of course innumerable other Vishnu temples are there. Everywhere you find stone deities. Some temples you find Panchaloha deities. So they may be made of any material. All these things are material elements. By themselves, stone or a piece of wood which has been cut from a tree or a metal, it has no life. There is no prana, there is no life force in that material object. Now, during the process of prana pratishtha, what happens is we carve a deity of Krishna or Vishnu or Rama according to the descriptions given in the Vedic scriptures, the Agama Shastras. They have very clear rules and regulations how to determine the proportion of the face, proportion of the body, proportion of the legs, hands. Based on that only you have to make. And when you make according to that, the deity comes out beautiful to look at. Very proportionate it appears. And how the deity looks, Krishna means how will he look? He will have a flute in his hand. His body will be bent in three places, his neck, his waist, his legs. If it is Lord Shiva, then it will be some other different pose. All these details are given in the Agama Shastras. According to the Agama Shastras, we either carve a deity or cast a Panchaloha deity or carve a wooden deity. And then we simply don't start worshipping it just like that. Right? So what happens is, there is the process known as prana pratishtha before we start worshipping that deity. So just like a human being, when he takes birth, how does he take birth? First, there is, we know, within the mother's womb, there is the fertilization of the egg, according to science. And then when that fertilization happens, slowly it starts developing and it grows and all those kind of things. And then finally the embryo develops, and after 9 months, the child comes out of the womb of the mother. According to the Vedic scriptures, it is not enough that there is an egg within the womb of the mother. What happens is, the jiva, the spirit soul, which has to, according to its karma, it is supposed to get a human form of body. It takes shelter of the semen of the father. And that jiva, when it enters the womb of the mother, then only that egg will get fertilized and it will become an embryo. Otherwise, you see, so many people, they are having sex so many times, but every time the woman doesn't become pregnant. There are so many people who go to the hospital, fertility clinics, you will see everywhere, advertisement, fertility clinic, IVF, this, that, assisted conception and things like that. Why? Because they are having sex, but they are not getting children. So every time a man and a woman have sex, it doesn't result in a child. Why? Why only sometimes the woman becomes pregnant? Because until and unless the jiva has been put into the semen of the father, according to the law of karma, pregnancy will not happen. So what happens? The egg is there. The egg in the womb of the mother is there, but it is a material object. It is a dead object. So if the jiva has not entered and fertilized that egg, conception will not happen, pregnancy will not happen, there will be no child. But that same egg, which is a dead matter, when the jiva enters that, what happens? It starts growing. And it grows from the small size of a pea. It grows into a child which is weighing half kilogram, 1 kilogram, whatever the weight of the child is at the time of birth. It will grow into that big size with a heart, 2 eyes, 2 kidneys, lungs, the intestinal system, the respiratory system, nervous system, the brain, so many hands, legs. So much development happens. Growth is a phenomenon that happens when there is life within the embryo. Sometimes it happens that the embryo in the mother's womb grows for a certain time, then that embryo doesn't grow further. Then the doctor will tell there is a miscarriage, abortion. You have to, the child will not, the child is not going to be born. So they have to abort. it becomes a miscarriage. That means the fetus within the womb of the mother has become dead. So the moment the soul leaves that body, the embryo stops growing. That's the fact. But if the soul is within the body of that embryo, heart will keep beating, and every week after week there will be growth, according to the stages which science has also discovered now. So you see how, unless the jiva is there, it has been placed into that egg. Otherwise, that egg will not develop, it will not grow. So the prana has to enter into that egg, only then it will become a fetus, it will become an embryo, and finally it will become a child. And the child also, after birth also, it keeps growing because the prana is there within the body. So, according to the law of karma, the jiva has to be placed within that egg, then it will grow. You understood? So, matter, there is matter and there is spirit. And the spirit, when it enters matter, it becomes a living person. It is no more dead matter. The embryo, when it's born, if there is no prana, if there is no jiva within that, what will happen? We'll say the child, it's a stillborn child. The child is dead when it is born. But if there is prana, we say it is a person. Similarly, a person, living person, is going, is walking, is talking, everything is happening. When we see that person, oh, XYZ person has come. But if that person dies, what do we say? Dead body. So you see, if the prana is there within the body, we say it is a person. If prana has left, what do we say? It is a dead body. It is dead matter. Body, take the body for cremation, burn the body, bury the body. Right? We don't say bury the person, burn the person, we don't say. We say body, burn the body. As long as within that body the person is there, we don't see it as a body, we see it as a person. So similarly, there is a deity of Lord Krishna or Lord Rama which is made. Now, that deity is simply a statue or an idol. According to the Agama Shastras, there is a process by which the prana or the life force of Krishna or Rama is installed within that deity. Then the deity no more is an idol or a statue. It is no more stone. It is no more metal. It is no more clay. It is no more wood. It is actually a living person. In the case of ordinary human beings, what happens? There is a process by which the jiva is established within the dead matter of the embryo. How is it? That is by the process of sex. That is the process of sexual intercourse between the man and the woman. But when the Lord has to descend, when the Lord's prana has to be established, that does not happen like ordinary human beings. The Lord descends out of his own will. When a devotee, when a bhakta, when he approaches Krishna or Lord Rama, like in Ayodhya, so many devotees, they wanted Lord Ramachandra to come down as the Supreme Lord and take his place in the temple. So, when the devotees, they follow the scriptures and invite the Lord, oh my Lord, please come. We have made this deity form for you to occupy. Then the Lord, out of his own sweet volition, he comes and establishes his prana within that deity. Then it is no more a statue or an idol. It is actually a living, breathing person. The personality of Krishna or Rama. And that is why you see there is a report now. The media report has come from now on. Ram Lalla will be given an afternoon siesta. Because he is a child, he is woken up early in the morning at 4 a.m. By afternoon 1 o'clock he becomes tired. So he is to be given 1 hour rest. So 1 hour the temple will remain closed. Why? Because that is no more a stone idol. Lord Ramachandra is actually there, personally present. And so therefore we call it prana pratishtha. The prana of Lord Ramachandra has been invoked into that deity. So Ramachandra is personally present there. And he has come there out of his own sweet will. It is not some mechanical process. We cannot force him to descend. When he is pleased with our devotion, he sees that we are keen to render devotional service to him. We want to render bhakti to him, bhakti yoga to him. Then Lord Rama says, okay, you want to serve me? You want to feed me? You want to dress me? You want to do arati for me? You want to sing bhajans in front of me? Okay, I will descend into this stone. then it is no more stone, it becomes actually Lord Ramachandra. And that is why when we go to the temple, when we see Ramachandra's deity, immediately we offer obeisances. Why? Because Ramachandra is there. Krishna is there in the temple. It's not like when we go to the showroom, you'll have hundreds of Krishna statues. We won't go and keep offering obeisance to each and every deity, no. Why? Because Prana Pratishtha has not happened. It is a metal statue only. Whereas in the temple, the Lord is personally standing. So the Agama Shastras, they clearly define what are the substances into which the Lord can agree to descend. It may be made of wood, it may be made of clay, it may be made of metal. Metal means the Panchaloha deities. It may be made of stone. It may be a painting, or it may be a form which we have generated in our own mind according to the scriptural rules and regulations. All these kinds of forms the Lord agrees to descend. Now, when we come to an actual temple, what happens? The deity is there in the temple, Krishna is personally standing there. Now you go to a metaverse, you create a replica of the temple. Just like the couple were getting married. Suppose I got an invitation for the marriage. I went to metaverse and I attended the wedding. But are those two persons actually there? They're not there. It's simply an imaginary world which is created to mimic the actual events which should have taken place. Those two people are actually not there. Some imagery is there which looks like the actual people. Actual people are not there. No, they are somewhere else. So similarly, in metaverse, if I create a temple, what happens? I may create a replica of the deity in the temple, but it's not the real deity. Real Krishna is not there. But you will get some Sukriti. Instead of in metaverse going to some movie theater or some pub, you go to a temple in the metaverse, still Krishna will recognize that. Krishna will finally lead you to an actual temple. So, actually, what we need are real personalities to interact with. So in the metaverse, what happens is we have only fake personalities. We don't have real personalities. So the effect you get by coming in front of the actual Lord and offering your obeisances and praying to Him, you cannot get the same effect on the metaverse. So in effect, what you have in metaverse, you can make a replica or an imitation, but that does not become the actual thing. You cannot replace the actual temple of the Lord with one in the metaverse, because in the metaverse, you have not followed the process of Prana Pratishtha. You have not invoked the deity there. There is no way you can invoke a deity into the metaverse because the Lord has just not chosen to be there. He has chosen where He will be. He will be in a proper physical temple. There you go, the Lord will come. So therefore, the real temple is where the real Lord is there. However, if you go on the metaverse, you go into a temple in the metaverse, there is Sankirtan going on and you hear that, you'll get benefit of hearing the holy name of the Lord. So the holy name of the Lord can descend anywhere. You see, the Hare Krishna mantra, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, that Namna Makari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpitaha Niyamite Nasmarane Kalaha. So, hearing the holy name of Krishna is such that there is no restriction of time, place and circumstance. When it comes to a deity of Krishna, there are so many restrictions. You have to go to a temple, proper Prana Pratishtha should be done. You should have, the deity should be made according to the Agama scriptures. You cannot concoct whatever you want and start worshipping. The Lord will not descend. So you have to do all the proper rituals, and finally the Lord has to agree to descend. Then the Lord comes there. Then only it becomes a temple. Otherwise, you can, in the name of temple, you can run anything. But that doesn't become a temple. Temple, it becomes when the Lord actually descends, seeing the devotion of the devotee who is inviting him to come there. He comes to receive our devotional service. So, and all the rules and regulations of deity worship also we have to follow. If you don't follow those rules and regulations of the deity worship, the deity will not stay, he will go away. Then it will become simply idol worship. So there are so many rules and regulations. If you follow that, only then the deity, in the deity, Krishna or Lord Rama or Narasimha or Varaha is actually there. Otherwise, he will not be there. Whereas when it comes to the holy name, niyamita smaranena kalaha, there is no consideration of time, place and circumstance. The holy name can descend anywhere, at any time, in any circumstance. So even in the metaverse, if you have a Hare Krishna mantra kirtan going on, you are hearing that is as good as coming to the temple and hearing the Sankirtana. That benefit you will get even in the metaverse, because that is what the scriptures are stating. For the holy name, there is no restriction. For the deity, there is restriction. That is the power of the holy name. The incarnation of the holy name of Krishna is not looking at time, place and circumstance. He is ready to descend anywhere and everywhere. So this is the difference. So therefore, temple as such, if you want to get the benefit of coming and worshipping the Lord, you have to come to an actual temple. Only then. Somebody can create a Ayodhya in metaverse. You go and have a darshan there, it's not the same as going to actual Ayodhya and having darshan of Ram Lalla. It's different. Why? Because there, Lord Rama has actually descended. Whereas when it comes to the holy name, you create a replica of our ISKCON temple and have Sankirtan in that, and the metaverse, you go and attend that Sankirtan, you will get full benefit of the same thing, because the holy name is present there. So this is how we have to understand. I hope that answers the question.